consider it as more of a place that you can bounce ideas off of someone, they can bounce ideas off of you, and ultimately both of you win. So take that to heart. Number 8, develop and utilize your network. How many of you know what a network is? A professional network. Come on, put your hands up if you know what it is. How many of you have used your network for something? I don't care what it is. Good. For those of you that did not put your hands up, let me make it really clear. You need to develop a network, and you need to start now. You need to start today. Networking is what business today is all about. People don't do business with companies. People do business with people. And the only way for you to do business in the future is to do it with people. And the only way for you to do business in the future is to develop your network. A lot of you are graduating, and some of you are thinking, where am I going to work? What am I going to do? What do I do now? You're kind of scared. If you're like me when I was at that time, I was like, what do I do? You have to use your network. You have to develop your network. This is the time to start developing one. You know people. You know your friends. You know your friends' parents. They know people. That's the start of your network. You'll probably meet me tonight. I'm part of your network. You have to start developing your network today. Having a network is so key and critical today to doing business that people without one is floundering. You've got to think about your network right now. Branch out into different areas, meet different people. Get involved in clubs here. Get to know people outside of your circle of influence. Get to know people that will bring something to you and that you can bring to them. Networking is all about getting to know people. Is being able to broaden your circle of influence and to have an ability to tap into that network when you need to. And let me say one thing about tapping the network. I was having a conversation with a student earlier today, and she told me that she's kind of afraid. She feels like she's using people. Let me tell you this. I've used my network to find jobs. I've used my network to help other people find jobs. I've used my network to find services for myself and my company. I'm not using anyone because they're going to come back and ask me for help at some point in the future and have asked me for some help in the future. As much as you expect to receive from your network, you have to expect to give it out at some point in the future. It's a give and take. And at the end of the day, that movie Paid Forward kind of thing, at some point you're going to pay it forward. And you can't walk into a mindset of utilizing a network that you're using. You're not. You're utilizing them. You're not using them. You're utilizing them to meet your needs. At some point, they're going to utilize you to meet their needs. So it's all going to work itself out in the end. It's all going to be equal. So feel free to utilize your network. Develop your network. It's so important. I'll tell you a little bit about my future plans and some of the reasons why I'm choosing my future plans a little later on. But it all has to do about networking. And networking will bring you a lot of interesting surprises in your life. So my takeaway there is utilize your network, which is your resource. So that sort of ties in number 9 and number 8 together. Number 7, don't waste your time. You're spending 4 years at Houghton. You're spending a lot of money to be here too. A lot of you are going to go into debt. A lot of you may not go into debt, but you cannot waste your time. And when I say don't waste your time, I mean make strategic choices. Use your summers wisely. We're talking a little bit about networking earlier, but use your summers to network. A lot of you have, I've talked to a few of you. Some of you guys have some really cool, ambitious goals, and I think that's really neat. But if the analogy I want to use, if you want to work in a financial role of some point when you graduate, and you spend your summer working in the summer camp being a camp counselor, when you graduate from here, no one's going to take a look at you. It's really hard for someone who wants to hire a finance person into their company, into their team, and then has spent the summers working as a camp counselor. don't want to insult anyone here who's been working as a camp counselor, but I'm telling you right off the fact that I've had people that have given me their resumes and want to work for me, work in my company, and have wasted their summers. I don't even look at those people. I mean, it just goes at the bottom of the pile and eventually ends up in the recycling box. Utilize your summers wisely, okay? I'm not going to say that, I'll tell you what I did during my summers here, but I'm not going to say that I'm the best, or my example is the best, but you have to utilize your summers. And I'll tell you one thing, I worked in a summer camp as well, but I'm going to tell you one thing, you have to make strategic choices. So I'm saying, why are your summer jobs and internships so important? So my first summer, I worked as a camp director in my church, and I managed that lawn care company I told you about. So I wasn't necessarily a camp counselor, but I did the camp director position for one thing and one thing only. Well, I should say two things. One was location. Number two was that I developed supervisory skills. You try and supervise a team of 30 volunteers that range in age from 15 to about 60. That have no motivation. I mean, they're just there to volunteer because they have a day off or something. How do you motivate these kind of people? How do you get them to do things that need to be done? I mean, I was operating a camp that had 200 campers a week. We had a fairly small budget, but we made do with what we had. And I only had one other paid staff worker that worked for me. Paid staff worker is pretty easy to manage, but again, you're still in a church. So you can only do so much. But then you try and manage a group of 30 some odd volunteers. Again, you got your teenagers up to your retired people. It's tough, but I chose it. It was a strategic choice. Why? Because I wanted to develop some supervisory skills, and I got that summer. Actually, the second summer. I did that 2 summers in a row. My third summer, they wanted me to come back and do it because we'd actually found that the camps could be run as a profit center. We made money for the church, significant amounts of money actually, through some government funding as well as just the way that we would structure the camp. But I wasn't interested in doing it for a second summer. My third summer, I knew that I wanted to go into the biotech industry. I wanted to use my business and my biology background. And I knew that when I graduated here, if I didn't have some sort of experience in the industry, no one was going to look at me. So I went to work for MDS. MDS Clinical Trial Laboratories that managed clinical trials for pharmaceutical companies that were coming out with new drugs. I was a business analyst there. I worked on a variety of projects. The 2 main projects that they got me working on, they actually implemented my recommendations, which was good because again, when I applied for full-time work, I had a story to tell. Look, I've been able to make recommendations, and those recommendations were implemented. They weren't pie-in-the-sky recommendations. They were legitimate. They were implementable. And they saved the company money. A lot of undergraduates that I know and that I went to school with here chose unstrategic summer employment activities. Again, let me just make it really clear. Be strategic about your choices. Make sure you know what you're doing and what skills you want to develop when you go in, when you come in and do some of this summer employment. Make a strategic choice. Don't waste your summers. Your summers are too valuable. Some people choose to volunteer during the summer, which is great, but make sure you know why you're volunteering. What specific skill set are you trying to pursue? What specific skill set are you trying to develop? What can you learn from your summer employment? Don't waste your summers.